So, since I'm recording, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. Right here, according to AI, scientifically, evil is not an objective, measurable entity. Instead, science, specifically physiology, neuroscience, and evolutionary biology, redefines this concept by studying the underlying mechanisms of extreme cruelty, aggression, and a lack of empathy. So, anywho, um, again, I'm gonna go ahead and just break this down. I want to use science because we can, based on a being's biology, we can now observe what patterns of consumption and behavior um, perpetuate healthiness and what activities and things of consumption perpetuate unhealthiness. Based on that standpoint, I mean, it's what is health? Okay, if health is a well-being of the body, and to be unhealthy is an unwellness of the body, what is this word of evil? It's essentially that. Is anything that severely hurts or destroys or lies or creates some type of a loss, takes away from the good well-being of anything, really, to me, is evil. So this is why I think we need to look at the effects a creature is actually having, because everything's always going to change. So if we know everything's always going to change, then we need to be prepared to deal with things changing all the time. So the best way to deal with things changing all the time is to look at the actual, for the only way to gauge whether what something is doing in the universe is to gauge exactly that, the effects it has on the universe. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. My ideas on how to evaluate, measure. That's exactly what it is. We need to measure evil. Okay. Okay, so analyze the effects of an individual, object, situation, etc. Analyze the effects of an individual, object, situation. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, every single human being, animal, plant, business, and product can all be evaluated to see what levels of harm they are creating, they are causing to the environment. Yeah. And that seems pretty common sense too, to see what level of harm they're doing. If there's no level of harm, there's no evil. If there's a little bit, there's a little bit. If there's a lot, there's a lot. It's simple, bro. Like, keep it simple. This does not need to get complex. And that's exactly where I think they're going to try to take this. But it's not. And that's, going back to the word again, simplicity. The devil works in complexities, because from the complexities, there's more space, allowance for split, a division of goodness and evil. So that the more, this is why you know what I know, but more complex situation, the more room for cracks. Even with structurally engineering type thinking, if you've got a building with a whole bunch of pieces and different weird angles, there's more probability of something going wrong as it compared to just like a simple yurt, just a simple circle, basic structural foundation. There's less probability of something going wrong with the yurt than there is with something that has a bunch of different angles and designs and all sorts of weird shit. Common sense. So this is why it's just keeping it simple. It's like the devil likes to misdirect. They'll use anything that they can, but if they feel like somebody's on to their fucking trail, their evil trail, rather than initially fight back, because you got to think like this is why it's you could say it's an art. I mean, everything's really an art, but to be evil in that sense, it is an art form for them. Like, they love doing this shit. If they love doing it, then they're gonna try to continue to do it as well as they can, which means they're gonna turn it into something that is as fluent for their best interest as possible, which under this assumption, we're assuming these people are motivated by evil. So if that is their primary motivation, is to perpetuate more evil on this planet, then as soon as they get it, somebody sniffs their trail, just lashing out with teeth bared, that's like, okay, well that kind of just proves that y'all are fucking, there's something wrong with you guys. Like, why would an innocent person react that type of a way to somebody who's suspicious? That's not how they react. An innocent person would be like, whoa, I'd love to try to help you figure out why you're suspicious, because I'm not doing anything. That's what a good person would do. Somebody who is less advanced in the arts of evil lashes out. This is why humans, you can tell humanity is in a state of splitness, because that's what a lot of human beings are doing. It's because we don't know. Like, we are operating in a way that's alien from our original way of doing things. So because of it's alien from the original way of doing things, there's a lot of misstep. There's a lot of chaotic, static reactions that are happening as a result from this messy transition from coming from a higher plane of existence and knowledge and awareness and power to a lower one. That transition is going to have a whole plethora of static engagements and conflicts that are just chaotic in nature, because you're dealing with a split of personalities, a split of energetic connections and vibrations and patterns. So it's just natural that there's going to be a bunch of friction and shit. And it's from these spaces and these frictions and these weird points of openness and vulnerability and pain that the devil knows that they can feed off of people. And it's literally like they can see the energies as they are, and the points that are more open and susceptible to infiltration, they're aware of, and they infiltrate them. Because that's what evil does, is it looks for the weakest spots in an armor, and it goes in and it exploits it as much as it fucking can. Because that's its MO, to be greedy, to be lustful, to take over, to kill, to hate, to destroy, to all this shit. So the way America is operating is allowing a ton of evil to come in a ton of different places all the goddamn time. And people are perpetuating it. They're going along with it. They're buying into it, becoming it. It's a very big deal. And the best, again, going back to the devil's greatest trick from The Devil's Advocate, the movie, is convincing the world he doesn't exist. Exactly what's going on here, dude. And this is also why that definition needs to change, because it's the simple, it's the little, it's the accumulation of the small infractions, the small transgressions, the small levels of sin that are accumulating, that are building up in all of us into something large, into something big, into a very strong and powerful demonic force that's able to possess people to the point where they really don't care about each other or anything other than getting their own money, getting their own pleasures on, and that's it, really. That's what America's turned into, is a self-centered quest for individual glory, really. So anyways, but that can be looked like, if those intentions, I mean, you shouldn't be looking for glory, like, that's goodness, righteousness, because that's the ego, that's the vanity. If you're really seeking, that's not the reason. Like warriors, like they're gonna tell you you're stupid. Like if that's really why you want to be a warrior, is to be glory and glitz and a medal of honor, or that's your vanity. That's you seeking your ego, wanting to be the biggest, baddest ass. That's not what a true divine holy warrior is should be about. Obviously, it should be about wanting to help others as much as they can, and that's it. That's the only MO. If your MO is veered in any type of a way, then you should check yourself and realize that you're operating from a standpoint that's not as aligned with the holiness that it could be, that it should be, if you are to be of a holy warrior. And a true holy warrior should have the perceptional ability to be aware of that and to correct themselves. That's the beauty of being a really holy warrior, is that you can heal yourself. That's the definition of health, goes back to heal thyself. Which, if we were really taught how to heal ourselves, we would not need this medical industry that we have here today. Just saying, dude, like, this is why everything's got to change, because that medical industry is allowing a ton of evil in a ton of different fucking ways. So, but it's under the mask of looking good because they're providing a medical service. It's a lot, but it's really quite simple. Once you see the silver lining, it lines up perfectly. This is also why the word is our salvation, but it's only dependent on how much we actually believe and commit to the word. So, if we had a society that was aligned with the word, people's alignment with the word would be that much better. We're getting there. So. So I'm going to be looking into all the technologies that can help read energy, and to correlate that with studies of people with issues with, okay, I got it, all right, all technologies that can help evaluate energy. Okay, that could be helpful, yeah. All right. This is the type of stuff that heals, man. Like, for me, like, I'm not trying, like, the shirt thing, there's a real deal with it. Like, when I have these shirts on, I feel less able to breathe. I feel less able to be myself. So I'm really not trying to do any weird sexual shit. It's really, this helps me feel better by having my shirt off. I feel I can breathe better. I feel freer. I feel like I can express myself. I feel better. I literally feel better with my shirt off. It has nothing to do with me trying to appease or attract anybody. And then on top of that, there's the materials and everything that the shirt is made up of, which does have an effect on us. And we know this because we know epigenetics is real, and our cells are constantly absorbing the environment we're around all the time. Which means if we're constantly wearing shit that's not good, we're constantly absorbing shit that's not good. And if we know this stuff, and we have the ability to create things like hemp and other organic materials that are good for everything, why aren't we using it? Like, it makes no sense. What type of a populace would continue wanting to spend money that they work for to buy shit that hurts them, when we have alternatives that actually help us? It's stupid. It's beyond stupid, though. It's evil. And the sad part about it is that we are allowing it. Like, we live in a country where if the majority was like, hey, enough of this shit, we're going to stop, we live in a country where that can't happen. That can happen if enough of us come together. But that's what it takes. We have to come together and agree, or at least start talking and conversing and debating on what it is the majority agrees about. And then once we have a consensus on that, because they don't want that. They want division. They want to split us up so fucking much that we can't agree. And if we prove that we can't agree, that gives them the warrant, the allowance to come in with their fucking army and really turn this shit into a police state. You see, this is also why, like, what they did, them talking about all that stuff, is I can see how a lot of people are repelled by what I'm talking about, because it seems similar to what the evil ones are talking about. And in a sense, it is, because this is what needs to happen. Like, when what you say, they're trying to turn you to the demons, and I'm trying to do it to turn us into angels. That's the difference. That's literally the difference right there. You can't. There's a reason in the Bible. Going back to the Bible, you can't serve two masters, dude. One of them is gonna like they're both. It's chaos. And that's exactly what we have here in America. Is the majority of the populace who is Christian, good-hearted people, but they're unfortunately under a physical plane that has an evil that is under the sway of evilness right now. And so because evilness has the sway of the plane, most of our business transactions and endeavors are aligned with evil as opposed to good, because that's what evil wants. They're not going to want a bunch of good businesses selling a bunch of organic products at affordable prices. No, they want a bunch of cheap shit that's horrible for everything, sold at very cheap prices, or they're going to sell you healthy shit at super expensive prices. Everything seems to be designed to beat down Americans and the world while appearing to do the best that they can. It's madness, and that's why most Americans feel probably just like that. Like they're living in a fucking madness zone where where it seems like things should be a certain way, but they keep on not being a way. And it's like, why? And most Americans will probably agree it has to do with government corruption. If we are in agreement to that, then this is the time in this story, in this timeline, where we need the U.S. military to come in and help protect against foreign and domestic enemies, as it is explicitly laid out in the Constitution and the oath that every single service member, employee of the United States government takes and is sworn to oblige by. Okay? That's the oath y'all took. Whether you believed in it or not, doesn't matter. You took the oath. And if you don't want to follow the oath, you need to take off the badge. It's that simple, dude. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's the truth. That's the way it's supposed to be. Alright. Anyway, I'm not going to get heated. Peace.